Hello, Internet. This is Paul Mathers. I'm here with Laurie Mathers, my wife, and I have a question for you, Laurie.
Yes.
What are you reading right now?
Well, right now I'm reading the
Speak
Journal
up.
of John Woolman and A Plea for the Poor, I
The,
guess.
the Quaker.
The Quaker. Yeah. I've been reading it for a long time. I've been reading it a little bit before I go to bed every night, and yeah, it's been really interesting. Um, he talks a lot about um, living out Christian values.
And he was one of the first Christian voices in America who were against slavery, if I understand correctly. Which I think I do
Yes.
because I read it too.
You read it too. You're the reason I read it because you kept telling me to read it. Yeah, slavery, and he also opposed the putting of young children to work on ships because it was dangerous and rough. And what else was he against? Bad treatment of animals. Um, Basically, he just believed that everybody should put Christ first and treat everybody else well with dignity.
And that's an outworking of loving Christ and
Right.
appreciating
Right.
Christ's grace
Well, like
in one's own life.
yeah, he actually kind of he was like a social activist in a way, only he did it quietly. But he didn't believe, if you didn't believe in slavery, then you also shouldn't um, purchase things that are produced through slavery. Things like that. I mean, he took it out there where he didn't want to promote the business of slavery, and so, or if he stayed at a person's house and realized that their slaves were ill-treated, he would want to, go stay somewhere else, or he wouldn't want to eat there or do anything there that would cause the slaves to have to work harder,
Right.
or whatever. So, he was. He was just very sensitive to treating everybody in a Christ-like manner. Um, and nowadays you would call it social justice, but
Right.
but which is kind of a dirty word in some Christian circles, but
it was seeking though to apply Christianity to one's life directly.
well, yeah, and not only that. I mean, he lived in a time and a place where everybody was ostensibly Christian, and yet they're doing all this stuff. And so what he's doing is, you preach it. You need to. If we claim to follow Christ, yet we need to live it. How can we be? How can we be cheating the Indians? How can we be selling them rum in exchange for their land?
Right.
I mean, this was another thing he was speaking out. This is all before the Revolutionary War.
Right.
He was speaking out against slavery, against the mistreatment of the Native Americans, any number of other things I can't think of right now, but, anything.
Which were institutionalized and unchallenged in the culture. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I see you have a stack of books here. What else are you reading?
Well, I'm reading in the Bible. I'm reading right now. Revelation is actually where I'm reading, but I'm also mentally working through Romans 7 and 8. I've been pondering Romans 7 and 8 a lot lately, and so someday I'm hoping that that's going to morph into a blog post.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Stay tuned for that.
Yeah, alienate all my friends. And this one I've been on for a really long time, and I stalled because the grand jury has me exhausted.
And what is this?
This is Milton's Paradise Lost, and it's wonderful, but it's not Dr. Seuss. I mean, it's a slow.
It doesn't rhyme.
No, it doesn't. And I'm not sure why it's poetry exactly, because I think the reason we know it's poetry is because the lines are all wonky and he doesn't finish.
Well, I think that he had an attention to the
the rhythm.
The rhythm and the flow and the amount of beats per line. I don't think it was completely just.
I'm supposed to pay attention to the beat. Okay, I've been doing it wrong. But I have noticed that it reads much better when read aloud
Yes.
than read silently.
Well,
and it actually is kind of more beautiful in when I read it.
the construction of the words is meant to
Yeah.
be euphonious. It was
Yeah.
composed on the tongue
Yes, exactly. And
by a
so,
man who was blind.
well, I can't read it with my eyes shut, so I can't quite relive the experience. But no, so anyway, but it is because of the way it's written, and it's not written in the way we speak, and it has a lot of kind of, I don't know, vivid imagery and a lot of theology and things that are thought provoking. And so I've been working through it very slowly, but I don't think I've actually read it, picked it up to read from it in a few weeks. I've just been really too exhausted by the time I sit down to bed to read something so meaty. But it has unforgettable imagery.
And you are still working on it,
I am,
which is
yeah.
entirely.
Oh, I'm not going to give up on it because it's really kind of amazing, and like I said, the imagery is kind of unforgettable, and I forget things. I forget most things, and so if somebody really has to paint a good picture for me to remember it, and so that's a good one. And if you want to know this one, I picked it up and I've been flipping through it a little bit, but this was actually one of my logic textbooks from college. It's called Reasons and Arguments by Gerald Nosich. I don't know. But anyway, I've been thinking it's time for me to bone up on my logic and argument and fallacies, and hopefully, sharpen and hone my thinking skills before, dementia sets in, Alzheimer's. Try and stave it off as best I can, and so I think that's all I'm reading right now.
Très bien. That's all we have for this time. Thank you for watching. That's what Laurie Mathers is reading. So, as they say in the old country, ta-ta.